Hey everybody, it's that time again. Welcome back to episode 6 of the Coils of Destiny. My name is Steven Dutzman. I'm the Dungeon Master, and I am joined by all 6 of my favorite Dungeons and Dragons players on the whole planet. I'll introduce everybody. To my right is my good friend Dana, and she is playing Rory the Ranger, who has a bird problem. To her right, well, it's not really her problem. It's other people's problem. You'll get it. Next to her is Linda, who is the Mistress of Magnificence, and she is playing Pin, the sneaky one. We're gonna go clockwise continuously. Below that, in the pig cave, rather, is my brother Michael. He is not me, I promise. And he is playing Preston, the very old wizard. And I don't know how to go clockwise. The B at the bottom of the screen is my very good friend Marie, who is playing Talia, the very, very stalwart warrior. Don't mess with that lady. And in the center square is Noob Mama. How are you? I'm doing great. And last but absolutely not least, my very best friend in the whole wide world, Amanda Farrow, the Princess of Power. And she is playing. How do I pronounce? I should be able to pronounce this. Odivira, the plucky cleric who, unplanned, is a very skilled baker. We didn't know this was coming, but like she likes to bake. Culinary magic baby. Anyway, so when last we met, let's give everybody a quick. When last we met, you guys were. Excuse me. When last we met, you guys were you escaped an ancient and ancient evil in air quotes. I'm just assuming that it's ancient. I don't know. And you escaped the cave / crypt under the well with this like basketball sized like orb crystal thing, and brought it back to Brother Thaddeus, and he and Professor Pop were about to identify it and tell you what all it is. So, for everybody watching, thank you very much for coming. You are absolutely welcome to shout out suggestions and talk with my players in the chat throughout the game. They may even talk to you, and if they're confused or want some advice, they may ask it for you. So, we begin. As you come rushing into the, you guys came rushing into the room. You remember Brother Thaddeus did his normal wide-armed greeting. It is worth mentioning that as soon as he saw the crystal that you pulled out of your pocket, his generally happy and excitable demeanor seemed to diminish as a different emotion passed his face. He immediately kind of took the crystal from, I'm not sure who gave it to him at that point, and says, we need to look at this, and immediately moved into his back office. Anyone who wants to follow him is able to. He doesn't shut the door.
I'm following him. I'm going to stay put. I'm tired.
You've been busy. I'm curious. You've been busy.
I'm following the nerd folk.
I've been so busy. I'm just going to hang out. You all figure it out. You let me know what's going on. I'm going to go find a biscuit. Understandably will do.
Keep me posted. Okay, so as he goes through the door, Professor Pop had run through the front door, had kind of popped in, as it were, and you see him kind of rush to the back room as well. I would like Talia, Preston, and Jezebel to make insight checks. And Talia, I'll just move you into the office since you said you were going to go in there.
Thank you.
There it is.
3. Outstanding.
Talia, he running real fast. You know what I mean? Like
Talia is insightful as ever. It's like the time I went into a seizure in the middle of the battle last week.
Okay.
I also
That whole
am
thing was
terrible.
a lot.
Fortunately, Jezebel is with us.
Jez. Yeah, he's worried.
He's worried.
Yeah, he's worried. You saw so Pop. You've only known him for you've known of him for a little bit, but you've only really interacted with him like a handful of times. And normally he's kind of like a plucky, kind of busy and excitable guy. But this is a different kind of excited. He is moving with concern.
Okay. I will kind of like approach closer and look at his work, and I just lean in and I say, I'm getting the sense that you're nervous about this.
I've only heard stories about gems like this before. Need to take a look at it.
What do you think it is?
I don't want to say. And then he immediately starts casting a spell.
Oh, and back up. Give him some room.
And so he's in the back office. There is enough room for everybody to get in there if you all decide to. But the door.
Is anyone hollering at me? Should I come in?
Nope.
Yeah. I'll be like, yeah, you should get in here. There's crazy things about to happen, I think.
I like crazy. I'm in. Let's go.
The magic word.
So so Brother Thaddeus is kind of holding this basketball-sized crystal gem thing. He says, this object is obviously magical. I'm assuming that you tested that before you brought it to me. I have heard legends of crystals that were this size and looked like this, but I did not think I would ever see one. We need to find out which one this is and what it does.
Which one?
Well, what it does is be surrounded by a water elemental that proceeded to punch us in the face.
It was being held by a water elemental?
Yes.
Held isn't the best word. Kind of like enrobed by it. As if it were the crunchy center of a gooey water elemental exterior.
Okay. And so he he pulls a little table out from the corner and kind of props it on there, and he starts casting a spell too. Everyone who can cast magic is welcome to make an Arcana check. And he and Jezebel, you notice that he and Professor Pop share kind of a concerned glance. Preston, he's identifying it. He's trying to identify.
Have either of them cast Detect Fate yet?
No, because I don't know what that is. What's Detect
It's
Fate?
that spell that you. It's that spell that you said exists in this world.
No, you're right. You're right. No, they did not. You have not seen that spell.
That'll do her.
Okay.
Because
nice.
I have one last first level spell slot before I need to take a long rest. And guess what I'm casting?
What?
Detect Fate.
Okay. Cool. So for those watching, Detect Fate is a spell that is very specific to this campaign world to determine whether or not items are fate touched, which is something that our players know is a thing, but don't necessarily know what it means. Mike, can you please?
Yeah. So I know the 6 of us are all fate touched. But
you've cast that.
Because I've cast that before.
That is true. That is correct. All 6 of you are, in fact, will glow when you cast that spell. Mike, please make a charisma saving throw.
I mean, I always glow.
That's true.
Wait, are you saying charisma saving throw or charisma check?
I would like you to make a charisma saving throw, specifically, is what I said.
Uh-oh.
So, Amanda, he is identifying. He is casting the identification spell on the thing. Mike, you pass
Ooh,
out.
No.
Oof.
You so to give you a very specific, you get a very bright flash of yes, this object is connected to fate.
Oh my.
Just the
Did I
same way
just-
everybody else does, but so much so that it knocks you unconscious. You take
My
no damage.
senses are
but
overwhelmed.
you take no damage.
Whoops.
But you are, you're feeling it. You're feeling it. You know what I mean?
Y'all see me go like stiff as a board and just
Raise the
deadfall
feather.
like back, and then you see Truffles shuffle out of his normal hiding spot, and it's kind of like slapping me across the face with his paw, trying to get me up.
That's what we like to see. All
Can I
right.
do a
I'm gonna go over-
dexterity check to try to catch him?
Oh, that's nice of you.
Why not?
I mean,
Sure.
just saying. As long as we're not being
The rest of us
monsters
just watching him fall over.
Yeah, I'm assuming he did that from inside.
Oh my god!
Wow, neither with Thalia. Damn.
Forever.
Okay,
Oh my
so-
god.
So as he starts to pass out, Talia tries to grab him, and he falls a little bit too fast, and that's okay. He kind of like slumps back against the wall. You know what I mean? The Professor Pop and Brother Thaddeus both kind of notice that he fell over, but you can kind of get a sense that they're straining a little bit trying to identify this object of power also.
I go over and I slap him
Someone
in the
just-
face a little bit too.
Press, wake up! Wake up, Press! Press, wake up!
So,
Should we
But
not
I
do this
don't
loudly?
wanna.
Mike, I'll let you know when you're up. So after a few, after a few very painful moments of the two of them casting identification, they both of them kind of fade back. Fade is the wrong word. They kind of tilt back away from the crystal, obviously exhausted, and Brother Thaddeus says, "This is an object of immense power, one that I have not ever seen. We need to find a safe place to keep this. This is a religious relic to an order that worships a god that has not been seen in millennia."
Huh.
And as he is about to go on, Professor Pop cuts him off and says, "It's an egg. This is an egg."
What is inside the egg?
Should we make an omelet?
No, this egg.
Is someone
can-
culinary
Nope.
magic?
No. No. And you've never heard you haven't heard this gnome be serious before?
Hmm.
No.
Okay.
This egg cannot open. It cannot hatch. We need to find a place to keep this safe. And he says the word safe. All of you except the unconscious wanderer. It feels like when he says the word safe, feels like time stretches out a little bit, and that S feels just a little longer than you expected. So it's almost like you hear him say, "We need to keep this safe." And then everything kind of shudders a little bit and goes back to normal. And so, Brother Thaddeus, do we have a place inside? Do we have any place that we can keep this? No one can see this object. Do you have any ideas, anyone?
Doesn't Preston keep Truffles in like a little pocket dimension in his hat?
He
Can we
does.
just throw it there?
I mean,
Well,
pocket
that-
dimensions do sound very exciting.
or maybe Brother Thaddeus has a pocket dimension he can access.
Or
Because
that.
if we're adventuring, that we might not want to have it pop out at inconvenient times.
Fair.
I don't mean to be rude,
Please say it. Go.
but I would trust Preston over Thaddeus at this moment.
Brother Thaddeus
Fair
just
enough.
Brother Thaddeus just gives you a look.
Oh, he's right here.
He is.
It was nothing against you. It's just, but what she meant to say was to keep it safe.
My
If
friends
we keep our
don't
eyes on
hiss.
it, yeah,
It was Pop
we'll
that
always
said that.
know where it is.
I know that.
Okay.
Yes.
That's why I said my friends don't hiss.
So
That's true.
Brother Thaddeus just doesn't. He just ignores that. Let me see if I can find you something. And so he there's like a little chest of drawers, like in kind of on there's like a in the corner of the room. There's a bureau. And he starts kind of going through it. Maybe you could. And he pulls out like this. It looks like a plate, but it is inky black, and you could use this to kind of hide it somewhere. But I think we may need to investigate. He kind of tosses it over to Jezebel, and so you can use that to put a hole in anything. And then you could use that to find a creative place somewhere in town to hide it. And if, for whatever reason, you don't trust me, you don't have to tell me where it is. But I am trusting you that you would choose some place in town that where it won't be found.
Sure. Thank you.
And so go hide it.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Let's go hide it.
Someone gonna carry Preston, or should I watch him?
I will.
Rada.
So as Talia starts picking him up, he starts to wake up. By the time you guys leave the building, he is, still stumbling a little bit, but he can keep up with you. And you're a little groggy, Mike, but you wake up fairly shortly. So you have the instructions. You need to hide this basketball-sized crystal of magic and not have it be seen. What do you do? And you have a portable hole. How many of you know what a portable hole is?
Ding.
A portable hole is a magic item that you can use to literally. It's like that thing from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. You stick it in there.
Oh.
So you can use it to basically make a hole in anything. So,
And don't put it in a bag of holding.
don't put it in the bag of holding. And that's
Okay,
bad.
good to know.
Yeah, that is not.
So I won't hold it.
That's not a Nambo
Yeah.
combo. Or that is a bad combo. Okay.
Good to know.
So, what would you like to do?
Let's see. Well, we definitely need to keep it away from the well. Yes. Could we have to think about a place that no one will tamper with or touch? Maybe in the if we use the hole in the ground level of somewhere? Like a building that we go to? I don't know. I was going to say a very large rock, but what if somebody breaks up the rock? Then that would be bad.
It would, in theory, be bad. Yeah.
Or a tree, but then you cut down the tree. I don't know.
Can we see? All right, where are we right now? We left Thaddeus's, right? So we're just outside.
Yeah, I can show you. Would you like a map of the
Yes, please.
whole town? I can do that.
I would very much, yes.
Let's do that. And I'm gonna zoom out for everybody. I will show.
Is there a church or like a place of worship?
I don't.
Yes, many. So hold on, I just have to zoom out for everybody else. So this is the city of Wavecrest. You all are. Let me draw on the map. Brother Thaddeus' office is in here. Again, remember this is not perfect. But Brother Thaddeus' office is. I just drew. That's a really crappy color. Make it neon green, everybody. Brother Thaddeus' office is like right around in here, where that green circle is.
Okay.
Okay.
Spread throughout the town, like you're kind of in the middle of, I guess, what you would call like a commercial area. There are other shops, a blacksmith, whatever. As you progress to the east, there are more houses, and that's also where a big part of like the shipyard is. The cemetery is farther out east. To the north, there is a small forest kind of grove type thing. And there's farmland.
I want the highest point away from water.
The highest point away from water would probably be like this hill right here, unless you went far away from Wavecrest, because like there are mountains, but you would have to like go elsewhere, which you could do if you wanted. I mean, he said to hide it. He said to hide it in Wavecrest, but I mean, I'm not saying you have to stay here. You could go hide it on an island somewhere if you wanted.
I don't know if anybody else caught the hissing of Brother Thaddeus's friend.
Yes.
Perhaps it's just my over imaginative mind, but I don't. Seems connected to snakes, and I don't know.
So we should go hide it in a mountain, is what we're saying? Because all I'm hearing is mountain.
I mean, I want it as high up as possible because we found this in the ground, but then now that I just said that, I don't know if the mountain is, but, it was surrounded by crabs and water.
But do we want to be traveling any great distance? I'm wondering if we're better finding kind of a out of the way building and find maybe like I'm almost thinking like
we
put it in a
bless it?
closet.
We could bless it. We could put it somewhere blessed, rather. We could put it in a church.
Oh.
I
The
would
church is-
avoid a church.
With Brother Thaddeus?
Not his church.
I understand that. I'm just saying.
No, I feel you, but that's just an option. Well, I mean, like, look, I'm a little biased, seeing as I'm like party cleric, right?
I mean, I'm not saying to distrust all clerics. Obviously,
No, you love me. I understand.
obvious. I mean, you are, yes, clearly. And I'm not saying that I distrust Brother Thaddeus. I'm just saying I saw the looks on their faces, and now I'm not sure.
I'm a little unsure too. So I'm willing to listen to all the options so that we can make the best one together.
Agreed.
We want to put it somewhere where there is not a lot of magical energy. Ow, my head.
Would that make it?
If it absorbs it.
Would that make it more obvious?
Look,
Or less?
look. Here's the.
I think-
Here's what happened. You want to know why I have the world's worst headache?
Okay.
I tried to sense whether or not that object was fate touched. It is. Extremely so. It overwhelmed my senses, and, well, I ended up in Talia's arms. Thank you for the rescue, by the way.
You're very welcome.
I'm never fast enough. Sorry.
I had my suspicions based on the shrine, but now that Thaddeus described that as an egg, we need to put that away. We need to keep magical energy away from it, and we also need to keep it away from places that we and other fate-touched individuals would normally return to when we pass.
So something quite mundane then would probably be good. Because you're right, I think it would draw more attention to it
We
if we
want
put it
something-
somewhere like a
we want
church or a
something-
magical place.
We want something boring,
Like a storage
Pot-
facility.
potentially hardened against physical egress and physical ingress, like something that's locked or has metal or stone around it.
Oh,
We're
silo.
looking- how about a
Oh,
safe?
fine.
No, I wouldn't want
Do
to put
safes
this
exist?
near the food supply. This needs to go like
Oh,
this needs to go in a bank.
I mean, do we have banks? Is that a thing?
Yes, there.
I
mean,
bet you.
there are. Okay, in a traditional sense of like there's no like Wells Fargo of Wavecrest. No. However,
Well, there should be.
well, there's. I mean, are we sure? Are we really sure? Like how? Like anyway. So with that said, you know of places in Wavecrest that do have large stone and steel protected vaults where you could put an object that would likely go undetected, unfound, and it would be very hard to like stumble onto it. You would have to like go in and mess that place up. So
I have a question
Go ahead.
about like portable holes in general in this sense in this world. If you put the portable hole against, say, a stone wall that's like 2 feet thick, and you create a space to put, is it trying to go through it or is it creating a space? Like, is it like digging a hole into the space?
It puts a hole through it. I would not recommend using a portable hole to open a hole into a large solid object.
Okay, that was my question.
No, that's a good question because
Because if it were to create like a space within the wall to just like hide it in a wall and just like close the space back out by taking the hole,
it does.
but it's like, would it crush it then? Like,
Yeah.
once the hole's
would,
gone.
It would kind of. That the answer to that question is it depends on how charitable your dungeon master is. So, so my question to you is: do you trust me? Second of all,
yes.
the intention. Well, that's good. Thank you. I'm glad. But also, anyway, the portable hole is meant to get through stuff, not to get into stuff. If that makes sense.
Okay.
It doesn't create like a pocket dimension.
Okay,
Yeah.
because that's the kind of like portable holes that I'm used to, is that they create like a little pocket.
Yeah, this one lets you get through stuff, but if there's nothing to get through to, it won't. It won't work.
Okay, that's what I
In
needed to know.
this case. So it'll be great for getting it into a safe or something like that you can't get into otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a thought, and I was being very rambling, cutting people off. So instead of that, I'm just going to get my whole thought out. So we're fate touched, right? We all kind of figured that out, right? Does anybody not know that they're fate touched in this circle of people?
You
Cool.
made that clear.
Fantastic. So the thing is that we have up until this point assumed that it was just people, occasionally objects. But then we got this thing, and this thing says it's an egg. All we know about being fate touched is that when we die, we are reborn. We show up just back in a church, like whatever, like nothing ever happened. Like our body just reforms there. I had my suspicion that we were dealing with dead gods, except now I think we're having issues with perhaps gods being reborn. I think I know this is a crackpot theory coming from your friendly neighborhood wizard, but I think we're dealing with something that was old that is trying to become new again.
So do you
And
think that the egg has some sort of god creature in it, and that's why they don't want it to hatch?
Amanda.
Yeah.
May I have a religion check?
May.
Did we ever go over her Arcana check?
Yeah, she saw that they were identifying stuff.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Not a great roll.
so like, you definitely are aware that in this world there are religions there are multiple religions that were dominant and had large populations of worshippers that have since, for lack of a better term, died off, right? If civilization all worships one god, and that civilization crumbles, or if a nation worships a god and then that nation dissolves, or something like that, the god may suffer, may become less powerful. So this idea of a god being dead, and potentially having the ability to be reborn, not super weird to you. You dig
No.
you dig that
Yeah.
concept.
I can definitely dig that concept. I mean, I'm a scholar, right? So I have that knowledge just kind of kicking around in my head, even if I can't super access it right now. So if we ever need me to dive back into my books, I do have some.
And to finish my thought, I found it very suspicious that whoever we were following into the well, that there was incense, and incense was lit, and it made me feel like it was a follower of something, a follower of whatever was in that hissing place. And now, kind of putting the dots back together, it's clearly not something that's completely forgotten. Not all the followers of those old religions have died out, apparently, as there was someone who was wise enough to put down incense and do that, and do all the magical hoobajoob that is needed to do something in that temple and try to awaken that which was previously dead.
That's
So,
a lot of assumptions.
look, there are two things that I'm really good at: magic tricks and assumptions.
That's not a
And
good thing.
oh, I know, because the last big magic trick I did opened a portal to the Feywild. I can accept the fact that my assumptions could also be equally as dangerous.
But it's a good theory nonetheless.
And now I'm going to shut up and leave myself with my thoughts.
Either way, to be handled with care.
Yes.
Much like an egg.
So can we find some kind of like root cellar that we can secure this into, or we know some different buildings around here have got an out of the way secure section.
Yeah.
Let's find some.
absolutely.
Let's find one of them, and whether it's a storage shed or something like that, root cellar of some sort that people aren't going to be going into. There's all kinds of little spots, I'm sure.
That is absolutely true.
So is there something, looking at the map, Steve, further away from the water, because of the water connection, is there something I'm looking,
if you're looking,
there's some little buildings.
Yeah, I think. I mean, you, Pin, you have a significant level of awareness of this town. You were born here, been here forever, and while you are thinking, you kind of actually, an idea comes to your mind that fits all of the, kind of all the requirements and ideas that other people had, right? Like, Talia's idea to have something that was not low to the ground, something that was.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to be far away from water in Wavecrest, being that it is near the ocean. However, there is a area that is kind of drier,
A little further away from the shore.
Yes,
perhaps.
And so, you actually think of, there is this farm that is towards the northwest of Wavecrest. This is an older family that likely has that. It's a successful farm. They definitely have some places where they store food for store grain, and there's definitely a root vegetable cellar. because this does have they do grow potatoes here. So like there's a root vet, there's a place where you can put those. They do have a grain silo, so you've got some options for places to kind of hide this gem. Also, you trust this family to not cause an issue with you. If they like see
Okay.
you walking around there, they're not going to be a problem.
Okay. So I'm going to tell the group this epiphany that I've had of a location we can bring it.
Sure.
Sure, sounds good.
Does that sound like something you all are comfortable with bringing the gem? I mean, anywhere I'm anxious to bring it, but I feel like this may be one of the better options without traveling at distance.
It's the best thing we've thought of so far. And I think it is better to keep it in the town.
Until we have reason not to.
Yes.
Sure. So, Linda, they are the, excuse me, the family name is they are the Windwall family. And
Windwall. Okay.
And so, like I said, their farm is kind of to the north. Well, it's really just kind of more north of the center of town, west-ish. Their house is on the west side of their farmland, and as I said, it's they grow potatoes and grain. And you suspect that you would probably see some people in the field now. It's midday, but they wouldn't think it weird to see you traipsing about.
Okay. All right, shall we go visit them and see if they can help us store this?
Let's do it.
All right.
So, are you going to approach them and ask them to hold on to this, or are you going to find a place on their property and hide it without telling them?
I think ignorance is bliss in this case, and greet them if I see them, but look for finding just a place on our own. Beg forgiveness, not ask permission.
I think some of us should go sweet talk them as a distraction.
Can we bring them some culinary magic as a bribe?
As a reason
Or
to
a
go visit
distraction.
them. There's our reason to go
Yes.
visit them.
Fabulous.
That's a perfect ruse.
Sure. You definitely did just finish prepping a batch of some baked goods before.
I did.
So there is stuff ready. So if you were to go try and pick some up, at this point, the people at the folks that run the tavern wouldn't even think twice about you just walking in and grabbing a basket full of stuff. You're basically
I am
an
very
employee
helpful.
there. Yeah, you're basically an employee. You kind of like just decide.
Unpaid but happily.
Yeah. So you walk in and you grab some baked goods, etc., and put it in a basket. And again, they don't ask questions at this point. You just walk, grab it, you get a little wave, you walk out, and the six of you, kind of start your very brief walk to the Windwall estate. As you get there, as I mentioned, there are a few people kind of working the fields, kind of casually, they are moving about with, horses and using, big farming implements to operate. It is growing season, so they are, it's not a big harvest time, so they are they're working, but it's not particularly strenuous work for them today, but they are distracted. So you get a sense that you could walk all the way around the actual farm, like the crops themselves, and they probably wouldn't notice you much.
Okay.
What kind of building are you looking for?
I mean, my gut reaction is to put it in something like a stone building or, something like that, or something that at least has more stone than
Stone or
wood,
brick.
or yes, or rather,
Yeah.
if there's something with a hard floor versus like a dirt floor, preferably maybe a stone floor that's hard to burrow through.
So, if
I like
you
your
were
thinking.
if you were looking for a stone floor, that is their house. And maybe like a bigger barn. So probably as you look at the map, which I will show to our audience as well. I should probably zoom in a little bit. And guess what? Production is hard. Let's go to so the there are two buildings. There's like the main house that's kind of on the left, and then on the right is kind of that's where their silo is, and there's a little building off to the side of it. If you were looking for something that had a stone floor in a basement, it would have to be one of those two buildings.
So the barn or their house. So if those are the two choices, I would say go for the barn. What does everyone else think?
I agree.
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
it. I'm down. Preston, what do you think? Okay,
I concur.
Okay.
awesome.
I thank you. I thank everyone for listening to my advice. Hope it turns out great.
Well, you're the expert on all things magical, so.
It's true. I can just help from the religion side and culinary magic.
So
Nice culinary
you
magic.
guys, kind of walk down. You kind of walk down the path towards the barn, which kind of takes you northeasterly. You pass by a. You do have to cross a rather large bridge to get there. That's what this kind of gray bridge right here is. It's a very interesting bridge that one day I'll give you a map of, but it's a rather large bridge that actually has buildings kind of built into either side of it. This is there's a lot of shops here. Like this is, if you were to want to buy something that was very mundane, it would likely end up being here. This is where there are tailors and cobblers and like tradesmen.
That's fun.
The artificers are in a different part of town. That's where things are a little bit more exciting. This is where the boring stuff lives. But as you can imagine, that's where the people are. So there are a lot. It's very crowded, full of people kind of about their daily business. You cross the bridge, and your trip to the barn is completely uneventful. And you arrive there, and there's, as I said, there's really only a couple people, and they're working the field. The barn itself, I'm zooming in for you guys. Well, actually, I don't think you guys can see when I zoom in, can you? You can zoom in pretty far on this map. I'm quite pleased with it. And you see it's a large barn with a silo on one side of it. The silo looks to be about 3 stories tall, making it one of the tallest buildings in all of Wavecrest. There is, you do see a ladder going up the side of the silo, and you see obviously several doors that would lead into the barn itself.
So do we want to put it all the way up at the top, at the bottom? Where do we want to put it?
Well, there might not be really a space because the silo is typically just empty for storing the grain. So it's not like there's floors necessarily in it.
Fair.
So I don't know if there's really a upper level to easily like have a compartment to put it.
Hold on. If we're in a grain silo, let's just ask ourselves one very quick question. What part of the season is it?
It's growing season. So the
not
grain
harvest.
silo. So the grain silo is not full.
Okay, good to know.
I mean, there's
I
stuff
just don't
in
want
it.
to.
There's stuff in it because it's not completely emptied. The harvests have been very good, but it's not like the grain is all the way up to the top.
Right. We're not in fall where it'd be in full harvest.
I just don't want to create a portable hole. Create a hole which has an egg, and then accidentally have that egg come into contact with a giant pile of what would ostensibly be this town's food supply.
What do we think about with the barn putting it if there's like a loft area, kind of like in the back of the loft, if it is lofted. There may or may not be.
And we can go take a look.
It's a safe bet that it
Worth
is.
the
Safe
worth
bet
the
that there's
try.
a loft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big old barn. It is
Okay,
safe to
so there's
assume
probably a loft.
that there will be a loft of some kind.
Okay. I'm channeling my inner farmer knowledge.
Yeah, put it.
Nice.
Put it. The important trick for wherever we're going to put this is we need to keep it safe for people who don't know,
And
but
secret.
we need to make it easy and secret. But we also need to make it easily accessible for us to locate it when we do need it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, say I think we should probably put it on the bottom of the barn. Because say, I don't want to find out what would happen if we put up a hole and put the hole in the egg, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, the barn collapses or is destroyed, and all of a sudden our hiding place is now on top of a pile of rubble as opposed to beneath a pile of rubble. I don't want somebody to knock over our hidey hole, and then our hidey hole is no more. Hence ground floor.
Okay, where do you think on the ground floor we should look for? What kind of a spot would be optimal for this hole?
So do you guys just want to walk in a door?
I think at this point we gotta explore. We gotta just
Yeah,
go
we
in the
need to
door, open the door, and go in the barn.
We'll slide
I'm gonna
open
be,
the barn door and
Sure.
pretend we're visiting the animals.
Sure. Yeah. So you slide open a barn door, and it looks like a big old barn, right? Your stalls for some of the animals. It smells just awful.
Barney.
It smells like it's just a big old barn full of animals.
Does it smell like a farm?
It'd be like that. It just be like
If-
that, you know.
So it smells like my classroom full of chickens right now. Is that what you're telling
Exactly.
me?
It does. I mean, there are, there's a bunch of stalls for the animals to be. One thing that all of you notice is this is a very well constructed building, right? Everything is very solid. This is a relatively new construction, but this was definitely made by people who knew what they were doing. You might even get a sense that some of it is magically augmented, meaning like they were like reinforcing this because they wanted this to be around for a long time. There is a loft. Very clearly, you can climb up. There are several ladders that climb up there. There's also a set of stairs on one side of the building that you can go up to. Also, like I said, there's a pig. There are pig stalls and horse stalls, etc. So there's lots of. All of you are relatively creative people, and your characters are similarly. There's plenty of places that you could think of to hide something. It's a matter of deciding which one you might like.
I feel like we're not really utilizing the hole right now. We're literally playing hide and seek with it. We're not finding a space that's like locked away that we have to like come in from a wall side to be able to access it unless you have the key. Like we're literally just being like, it's a space. We'll hide it under some hay and hope no one sees it.
Right. I have a thought that perhaps if we want to do ground level, perhaps we can find a floor, and you know how some people they lift up the floorboards, little hidey hole under there. But we could potentially lift up, dig hole, really set it down, hammer it in, make it well constructed, and then we use the hole on top of that. Do you see where I'm getting? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if it's possible that we could maybe put the hole onto the floor, if the floor's not that thick, and we hit like the dirt underneath it, dig in the dirt,
And dig a hole.
put it in there, and then take the hole away.
It's a good plan, bestie.
Thanks.
We need to pick
So-
a very particular spot so we can find where to replace our hole, though. Maybe like in a corner so we know exactly where to replace it. Because if we're off by a foot, then we will be struggling to get it, especially if we need it with haste.
Yes, we'll do. Yes, a nice little corner.
Something that is very
Easy
easy
to
to know
remember.
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Sure.
Can I do like an investigation check to see if there's like a particular stone that looks memorable, slightly different color than the rest of them, or
I mean,
perfectly circular.
I will say you don't need a roll for this. You
Okay.
know, the you, know, you are pretty good at identifying terrain,
True.
and etc. So if you decided to commit a certain collection of stones slash floorboards to memory, I would feel comfortable saying that you know where it was and that it wouldn't be something.
Okay.
I'm not going to make you roll dice to determine whether or not you find your hidey hole by a foot. That would be
Okay.
rude.
Cool.
Okay. So then Rory would probably start looking at everything, eyeing the floor, the walls, where we are in relation to the animals, put herself up against a wall, take like 2-3 steps forward, like marking it out, looking around, and then being like, here.
Sure. Sounds great. You have committed that space to memory. I will be honest with you, I have not. However, we'll just say we go to the place and do the thing, and everything will work.
Okay.
So, are you gonna how are you going to use the portable hole in this case?
So we're going to put it on the floor to create a, like, through the stone space to hopefully, like, earth, and then dig the earth underneath it to try to create a space big enough for the egg.
Sure. Who has the portable hole?
Jez does, I think.
Yes, I do.
Not me.
Nor I.
So
No, we don't need to create a black hole with you.
So
No.
Jez is putting the she puts the portable hole down. I would like everyone to make perception checks.
Can do. So, check. Okay.
Ugh. Ooh,
I got a 20.
nice.
Dumb as a rock.
Ooh.
Not bad.
Ooh, 15.
Okay,
Not
everybody
terrible.
that rolled a 15 or better. The barn door is opening. The big one.
Ooh.
No, I'm still just doo-doo-doo.
Okay. So the barn door kind of, it's big, right? So like this is not this is there's someone working to kind of open this door. You saw they were out there in the fields doing stuff, so they might just be reasonable to assume that someone might be coming in just to bring stuff out. So you all those of you that rolled a good enough perception check, you realize that you have maybe a few moments to respond and to someone potentially seeing you doing this. So I'll give you an opportunity to make a plan. Quick one.
Okay. What do we do?
Do we split off and offer the cookies?
Oh, I'm
Or-
so down.
Start with that, and then we're trying to find the best space to place some new animals we need housing for.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk logistics and just
Okay,
Kind
what
of-
kind of animal do you want to do? Should we do?
Who is going to do this?
definitely not me.
I'll do it. I will absolutely do it.
I'll help with the logistical chalk.
Okay.
That would be great.
What
Yes.
kind of animal
You
are
speak farm. I honestly mostly speak culinary magic and
right.
also
I'll speak a little
Healy
farm. I
things.
speak light farm. Okay.
light
You
farm
want-
is probably better than zero farm, which is what Vera speaks.
Do you
What
want
is
me
it
to
then?
hide with the things? I'm very good at hiding.
I think
Try to
hiding is
be-
a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
I got to go hide.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would like if you're going to hide, I would
thing
like
in
a
the-
stealth check.
Yeah.
So after a few moments, the door just kind of slide. You hid the door slides open, and one of the farmhands and comes in with a small with just a cute draft horse, right? Pulling a wagon, and as they walk in, you see him rubbing the sweat off his brow, and he looks up and sees you two.
Our shining faces.
What? Hi, can I help you?
Hi. Yes. I am attempting to be a good neighbor. I'm new. My name's Vera.
Hi, Vera. It's interesting.
Hello.
We love neighbors. It's not very neighborly to be in our barn uninvited.
True. I promise you that I have a good explanation for this, but also, because I knew this was going to be weird, I brought you cookies. I just baked them. Like this morning.
I do like cookies. I would like a I would like a persuasion check, please.
Okay.
He is alarmed. I mean, listen, look, I have been working all day. I could definitely use some cookies.
Let me take care of you. I am so sorry. I did not mean to barge in, but like I said, I promise I have a good explanation. I was bringing the cookies anyway. So my very good friend here, we have questions about, because we maybe might want to make some changes and maybe move here and also set up a farm ourselves.
I mean, she already lives here.
I do. I've been here a long time. It just
I've
Okay,
seen
I'm
her.
not from here, so maybe okay. We'll say
Well,
that
there's
I would like to move here and I would like to
Yes.
be of assistance.
And I've been showing her around Wavecrest because it's so just gorgeous around here, and I could not resist showing her the amazing animals at the
Windwall Farm.
Windwall family farm.
Well,
Because I mean, you folks are just top notch over here.
Linda, could you please make a persuasion check?
Oh,
She's doing great.
I'm doing great. Doing great.
So, all right. So, I would like you to make that check with advantage based on the success of Amanda's prior roll and also cookies. Cookies
Okay.
almost always
Second
bring
roll.
advantage.
Second roll is a 17.
Yeah. So he says, "Well, I mean, listen, we do have some great animals, and so, I mean, I guess I could give you guys a tour. Do you need, I
Well,
could
we
do
were
that.
thinking you have such a diversity of animals, but we were thinking, what about goats? They eat the poison ivy.
We don't.
They might be an asset for you folks.
Well, are you trying to sell us goats?
No, we want to try to bring in goats that we can work with you, and maybe your barn is just so huge. Maybe we can use some of the space over here. We were just kind of checking your
okay.
space.
I just work here. That would be for that would be
Of
for
course.
for my employers. You can find them. I think they're in town right now. You might be able to find them doing some of their business. I think the master of the house needed to get his shoes repaired, so he may be at the cobbler. But I mean, who doesn't love goats?
I mean, they're
Who
just
doesn't
so
love-
sweet,
who
especially when
doesn't
they're
love
kids.
goats? I mean, little baby goats are great, but
I mean, little kids. I mean, they're just little kids.
yes. But yeah, I
see what you
still
did there.
so you were in our barn trying to figure out if there was room for goats in here.
Exactly. Just I don't want to propose this if your barn is at capacity, because then they might feel bad. I mean, I don't want to upset anyone. So I was doing a little field work.
This is aggressive field work.
I'm sorry.
So, but yeah, I would encourage you to go find the master of the house, and let him know that you were looking to procure goats to store here. I'm not sure how that business arrangement would work, but I know that your family, I'm sure, has money to buy goats, but I doubt your house in town could house goats. You probably would need us, so maybe.
Exactly. It might be a good collaboration. But I will definitely talk to the master of the house.
I do love
That is-
goats.
I mean, who doesn't love goats? Especially
Goats
baby
are cool.
goats. We just went over this.
Yes.
Sorry.
So
I just get really excited sometimes.
I mean, that's okay. That's okay.
Would you like another cookie?
Always. Always. And so he takes 2 more cookies out of the basket. So I have to work. So I might encourage you to not be in here since you've seen your space, and I've got to work. So why don't you
Of
all
course.
head on out back into town, and we'll see. If I could have quote unquote stealth checks from Talia and basically everybody else. I would like unless you are okay. Maybe I'm going to. If you are attempting to remain out of sight of this guy, I would like a stealth check. If you are not, then don't roll. So everybody that's trying to stay out of the way, please roll a stealth check.
Okay.
You know, we're doing a look natural.
I mean, there's
Oh,
a reason
damn.
there's a reason I have a -1 modifier for this.
Goodness.
A +4.
Wait,
I am so embarrassed right now. I was just like, I can hide so great, and I'm like tripping over things in the background.
wait. I'm very curious as to why the ranger has a -1 modifier for stealth. What's your?
Isn't it
dex?
charisma?
No. That's
Just kidding.
Feels like you're an archer. If you have a
JK. No, I have a +5 for that. Just kidding.
Okay, so you hide on a 13. He's not particularly paying attention. He's really just munching on food. Nobody like bombed. Preston, did you do anything to try and hide, or are you just like chilling?
Knowing that I lack either the ability to hide or the ability to talk, I'm just kind of hovering next to Jez's like left shoulder, just to kind of be like okay, I know how to play the lovely assistant. It's just like I'm with her.
Okay. Sure. So he kind of looks around, but he's not particularly looking for anyone. So, you know, he doesn't really see anybody. He's not really looking all that hard. Nobody like knocked over any, freaking yard tools or anything. And so he takes his cookies, kind of waves Pin and Vera off, and starts moving the wagon, and the horse kind of towards the back of the barn. While that was happening, Kate, were you doing your thing, or were you holding still?
I was holding still because I didn't want to try and hide it while there was a potential for the guy to like watch it happening.
Sure.
So I'd say once he leaves.
Sure. So
I'll go
it
back
is
to
worth
business.
mentioning that he is not leaving.
Oh.
He
He's
is
going to the
in
back,
the
right?
barn. He's going
Oh,
past
I
you.
see.
However,
I mean, I'll wait.
Sure. Okay.
I don't care. I'll just hang out.
Sure. Okay. So, he kind of he moves a little bit, and then he just kind of looks back and notices that Pin and Vera are still there. And he just starts, unharnessing the horse, and he's basically putting stuff away.
And I'm gonna nudge Vera and like kind of make like we need to start at least moving like we're going to be departing.
Okay.
All right. Yep.
Okay.
Should have done this at night.
He's making, he is making a little bit of noise, kind of taking off, harness and saddle and, all that stuff.
Preston, can you create a distraction with your magic?
Remember how I said that I'm all out of tricks back at the well?
But can you do like a little prestidigitation, maybe like
You want me to distract them with a perf? Like, okay.
maybe make something happen over there on the other side of the barn? Like turn turn a goat pink or something.
Ooh.
It'll be like, whoa, my god, why is this goat pink? And then he's gonna go look at the goat. Maybe that's a bad example. I don't know.
Pink goats?
It's marketable.
Inspired. Inspired. What color would the cheese?
Ooh.
You gonna do anything, Mike?
Prestidigitation comes from me. They'll know it was me.
They won't notice me, will they?
Okay, let's see.
You know what?
Somebody has thaumaturgy, right?
I know what to do.
Uh-oh.
Okay, I trust you.
Well, I say to myself, apparently I need to be a distraction. Apparently, I am going to cast prestidigitation while I wind up to sneeze, and I unleash a gust of wind onto the barn floor as I pantomime a sneeze, as I am genuinely uncomfortable inside of this barn because allergies. And I just kick up a small whirlwind at my feet.
Subtle. So, you kick up a whirlwind of dust, and the guy kind of turns around. Are you visible, Mike, or did you do that like around the corner?
Oh no! I was behind Jez's shoulder, and I was just like, achoo!
Okay,
But before he does that, I'm gonna move because I don't want the guy to see me.
sure, that's fair.
You
do that.
dig?
He definitely
Yeah.
turns around and
You
sees
dig.
like a whirlwind of like dirt and dust and hay and like I gotta shut the door. And so he just kind of starts moving back. He's still eating cookies, and shuts the door.
So glad I brought cookies.
This clutch move.
And you can tell he's got to strain a little bit. This is a big door. He's kind of sliding it along.
Oh wait, shoot! He's closing the door.
Is he closing it with him in, or is he exiting?
He is still in the door. He's closing it with him in.
Okay.
So you see him just kind of straining to close the door.
All right.
And then he does. And then he turns around. And he still sees the two of you standing there. Oh, did you want me to let you out?
Please.
Oh wait, us?
No. He
Or-
sees a man.
No.
Okay,
And
yeah.
That's true.
I was like,
He does not
Yeah, that'd
see.
be cool. Yeah.
Great. So
Thank
he,
you.
So he like
Yes, please.
strains against the door again. Like puts a cookie in his mouth and he just strains against the door again. All right, just get out. Just come on. Just go to town. I got work to do. I'm not. If they find out I had company, then I would get in trouble.
Sorry.
No, we don't want that. We don't want that at all.
I'm not
while
supposed.
that's happening, can I try to do the thing in the corner?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's making a.
Okay.
He is clearly distracted.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to very quickly handle all that.
Sure. So as he does that, you hear him say, "I'm not supposed to have women in the barn. I don't want to get in trouble." So he's pulling the door open for you to leave. Kate, as he does that, you put the portable hole on the ground, and it goes through. And so Rory had picked a spot that was, really strong floorboards right up against the stone foundation of the house, and somehow, as you put it down, some trick of luck, there is all like the floorboards are built over, in this particular portion of the house. There is a very shallow. You couldn't even call it a cellar. This is really just a shallow space between,
Like a crawl space?
Yeah, I wouldn't even call it a
Wow.
crawl space. This is
Okay.
like just you're very lucky. You picked a spot near the foundation where you really couldn't store anything there. It's just a space between the floorboards and whatever. So you and the dirt is actually relatively loose. So you're able to just put the portable hole down, dig enough of a space to put the gem into it, and then
Nice.
move the portable hole, and you are able to hide it. And
I give the egg a little smooch before
Yeah.
I put it in there. I say, "Good luck." Put it in.
noted. And so
If you start hitting, I'm gonna hit you.
No, it's fine. I'll make another character.
noted. Noted. Okay, so he opens the door, and and he just he does like one of those dramatic, bows. My ladies, please Please go. I don't want to get in trouble.
Bye.
I
Are we done at this point? Like, are we done putting the thing in the hole?
Yeah.
Okay, and the hole's picked up?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll...
Okay, so while he is flourishing his bow, Rory's just gonna come out and just pat him on the head and be like, "Thanks, bro," and just keep going.
And
Track.
he reacts. He's just
That's
super
fair.
stunned. He when you put your hand on his head, he shoots straight up, and it's like, what? I thought it was just the two of you.
Wait, sorry, I was really, really enthralled with the animals in here because I mean, like, hello, and I like point to my ravens. But I was sidetracked by shiny things. Well, they were. It's fine. I'm out now too. Bye.
And then,
Phenomenal.
Outstanding.
what about the rest of the three of you?
Oh, don't worry. Well, I think Talia, are you there, or did you stay?
there was she put a note in our
Yeah.
She
Okay.
stayed
little thing
behind.
that she stayed in town.
Right.
Oh,
So here's what I'm gonna do. I say, Preston, stay over here. I have an idea. When his back is to the door, just get on out of there. You'll see. Don't worry about it. Just hide for now.
That's the worst that could happen, really.
It's worse. That's what happened. So whenever this dude is done, I very dramatically come out from like where we were, where there's like maybe a bunch of hay and whatever, and I like pretend like I'm yawning and stretching, and I see him, and I'm like, oh my goodness! I'm so sorry. I was looking for a place to sleep. I was so tired from my travels, and I fell asleep in this barn. Oh, how embarrassing. And I try to walk so that he like faces me with his back to the door.
okay. So
This has been a very, very interesting moment of stealth. Very interesting.
The only stealth when it mattered.
let me.
Surprise!
Yeah, you know what? That I think that's a very creative way of trying to deal with this. I would ask.
That's
for
generous
one-
of you.
I will give you one final stealth check.
Okay.
Okay, so you are able to slip out without notice
Oh, all right.
because he is very confused. He is this farmhand is obviously
This poor guy.
very.
He's having a rough day.
He was just working.
In a minute.
Is he like questioning the state of the cookies that he just ingested and like what the heck is going on in front of him?
He's a little worried. He might be a little worried. Yeah. So
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah. So you are able to slip out.
Okay.
Is there any? So did Preston go with you?
I
How was
hope
Preston?
so.
Preston,
I
are
think-
you?
Preston left in the beginning, no? Like when the door was first
Oh, did
closed?
he?
Preston, when did you leave? Did you leave, or are you still in the barn with this guy?
Look, basically, I just figured that I did like the large distracting sneeze. And then that was kind of like my bluff of like, oh, allergies. And I just kind of just walked out.
Okay. Noted. So you just walked by the guy? So he is clearly, you hear the door kind of shut behind you, and the five of you are standing near the barn. You feel like you got away with one.
Cool.
Yeah.
We should probably leave the plate of the rest of the cookies at the house. For, like, to continue the con.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm down for this. I'll just bake more.
That's fair.
Okay.
I'm gonna go leave the basket. Well, I'm gonna go put the plate down, but take the basket back. But because I don't want to like upset the tavern owners, this is theirs.
Sure.
I
Okay.
enjoy how we have created an entirely new aspect of magic. It's like, okay, we have arcane magic and divine magic and nature magic and cooking magic.
Culinary magic. You're welcome.
So you, where are you delivering the cookies?
I'm gonna put them on the front steps to the house.
So, you walk down there. There's the house itself is kind of down a walkway, or not a walkway. It's down like a road. I should have written that. Let's see here. Let me see my.
I don't mind. Going for a little walk is not a bad thing, as long as I don't disturb anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like a quarter mile down the road. To put it to
That's
to
very
the house.
pleasant.
So you take a nice little walk alongside the farm, and you're able to drop off a plate of cookies at the front door. And now you know that in order to go back to town, you can either follow the road south that will take you back, or you can return on the road from whence you came and go that way. Which way would you like to go back to town?
I'll take the road south.
Okay.
No sense in backtracking.
Yeah.
Not a Metroidvania game. I'm sorry, that was out of character.
And if you need a definition of that, you can go to engagefamilygaming.com.
Shameless
you
plug,
guys-
shameless
Wall
plug.
break.
So you guys
Perfect.
go.
I break the fourth wall legitimately all the time. So
you go south, and you pass by some of the some of the bigger family houses, and but they're everybody's kind of going about their business. Nobody really pays much attention to you, and you mosey your way back across the bridge, and where are you hoping to go next? The real question is, are you gonna return to Brother Thaddeus's office, or are you gonna go somewhere else?
I mean, we should probably pick up Tally.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was about to say. Our wayward traveler
sure.
was holding down the fort.
Sure. So, Murray, where would Talia have posted up? I mean, the real question is, are you gonna I'm not gonna be obnoxious about it. Like, this is not that big of a town. If you want it to be easy to be found by them, just can meet up with them. But otherwise,
Yeah, I'm not hiding anywhere.
okay. So you're just.
Are you drinking?
I mean,
I
at
gotta
this
go return the
point-
basket anyway, so I'll go pick Tally up. Meet y'all over there.
I mean, we could all use a drink, I think.
Can't disagree with that statement.
Certainly.
Libation magic.
So we
Beverage-based sorcery.
One of us is going to become an alchemist.
Are you going to the Wavecrest Tavern then first?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Why not relive the greatest hits?
I mean, I have a really cool map for that, so I'm not opposed to it. So you guys walk into the Wavecrest Tavern, and Talia is there, relaxing. And there are not a lot of townspeople here. There's just a few, people having an afternoon rest at the tables. The cooks are running about their business as usual. And like I said, Talia is there, so you're able to pick her up.
Talia, the deed is done.
I don't want to know anything.
Okay.
That's understandable.
Plausible deniability.
I feel you.
So
Nothing happened. It was just cookies.
It usually is.
Yeah.
So the Meredith brings over a tray full of mugs and with ale in it, and says, welcome back, Vera. Let us know when you're gonna come bake again. Your cookies have been a big hit. And then she just goes back to
Be back.
obviously midday preparation. It's not quite dinner yet, so everybody's kind of working on getting ready for the rush. And what do you do next?
Retrieve my wand from my sleeve and chill my drink to a pleasant temperature. And kind of just hold it in two hands at the table, like in very much in a it comes in pints kind of a stance, and just kind of very quietly and kind of sit in the corner of the table, ignoring everyone and just kind of softly shaking while drinking my beer.
Okay.
You good, Preston?
I really need to take a nap.
Oh, that's fair. Nap time sounds like a great idea, quite frankly. Cookies and nap time? Cookies and nap time?
Ooh.
That's a very
Well,
good plan.
Do it.
The powers of wizardry can only be restored by a long rest. I have used all of my magic tricks in the last 24 hours. In order
need
for
a
me to get
snooze.
them back, I need more than a snooze.
You need
I
to go to
need time-
bed. You
I
need to
need- I
go
need-
to bed.
I need a bed, a bath, and my books.
The most important bees in the world.
Mm.
I'm assuming we have a place that we stay here.
I mean, all of you have you don't have a home base, but all of you have homes. You live here, so you could
Yeah.
either go to historically speaking, in as much history as you guys have had, you have all crashed at Pin's place, but all of you also have your own, apartments is the wrong word, but all of you have places that you could crash if you decided to leave and not want to be together.
Okay.
I'm going to Pins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do we want to go just do a hangout at Pins and relax and let?
Let's
Time
just
for a
take it
sleep.
easy for the rest
Time
of
for a
the
sleep.
time. Yes.
Sure.
I love this for us.
Is that? Are you okay with that, Pin?
That sounds like a great plan.
Sure. So
It's like real life. I'm hosting all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So after after everybody finishes whatever beverage they're gonna have, anybody that wants to go to Pin's house, you can. She's a noble of the town, so there's plenty of room, plenty of comfortable beds, and all of you are able to have a long rest successfully. As the rest of the day passes, is there anyone? Is there anyone that wants to do something different than immediately go to Pin's house and have a long rest?
Not for me.
No.
No.
So the next morning, everybody wakes up. So to refresh on what a long rest means. Everyone is healed to full hit points. You get all of your abilities back that you would have gotten back from either a short or long rest. So that would be your spells, pretty much it's like a brand new adventure just started. So you guys are all set. No, there are only certain things that don't go away after a long rest, and you guys did not have to deal with any of them. So the morning comes, the night passes without incident, right?
That's exciting.
And yeah, and rare, theoretically. So the next question is, what do you do next?
Well, I mean, I guess we should probably go see Brother Thaddeus. And
Yeah.
Yeah, an
Yeah.
update.
Maybe
I think it might be time.
not super update, but just be it's
taken
handled.
care of.
Yeah.
Just odd point of order. We have enough room at Pin's house that we all had some semblance of privacy.
I
I would
imagine.
assume
Her
so.
house is pretty big, and there's only 6 of you, so
Okay, cool.
everyone who wanted their own room has a place to go.
Rory and I had bunk beds.
Heck yeah.
And bestie time.
Aw.
Yeah, everybody had privacy. So if
Okay,
I
fantastic.
come out of that room and my hair's braided.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got like the Viking braid.
Of course.
Works well with me currently.
And so, what do you do next?
We head over to
And-
Brother Thaddeus. We need to
Yep.
update him that we have done securing the egg. And he had other things for us to do. So I don't know if that takes priority now or if he wants us to divert to something else.
Yeah, and maybe, I don't know, like poke him for a little bit more information about this. This feels a little like vague in just the take care of this. This is bad. I kind of want more information and maybe some kind of information as to who this dude was that we followed into the well.
Yeah.
Sure. We can do that. So the next morning, you wake up and you head to Brother Thaddeus's office. Pop is not there. And so it's just Brother Thaddeus sitting in his back office. He doesn't greet you immediately, but you can kind of see him through the doorway to his office in the back. And you can see that he is kind of poring over some of the books in his library and reading. And so he is deep in thought. You can see that his shelves, which are usually meticulous, are, things are scattered. Books are not where they necessarily belong. There are things on the floor. There's piles of stuff, papers, etc. He's clearly trying to find a piece of information.
So I'm going to kind of grab people before we go over to where his back office is and say, this isn't normal.
No,
Something's
it's really
wrong.
not. Something weird going on here.
I'm not.
Why
I'm
don't
not
why
liking
don't
this.
I go back there by myself and like talk one scholar to another and just be like religious scholar to another rather? Pretty cool with that.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea, not to inundate him with our whole group.
It could be overwhelming. I agree.
Especially
Good
if
idea.
he looks very engrossed right now.
He really does. So I'm gonna make myself known if everybody can just like
Kind of hang back.
chill and
Yeah.
hang back. I've got this, I promise. So
Sure.
Vera's gonna make her way into the back so that she can just like very gently, very mildly say hello. So she's gonna rap on the door and it's just her.
Sure.
Brother Thaddeus?
Yes. Are you? Is everything done?
Yes, it's taken care of.
Good.
No details or anything, for reasons because, plausible deniability and all that.
I told you to hide it and gave you a magic object to make it easier to hide it in a better place for a reason.
We got you.
I am glad to not know.
Good. Excellent. Keeps you safe, keeps us safe, right?
And
So
keeps it
What's
safe.
going on, man?
Everything
Seems to be in a bit of a state of disarray here, and you're normally like cool as a cucumber. What's going on?
It's a long time since I have encountered a object of power that I've not been able to identify, and when Professor Prop identified it as kind of a magical egg, I became concerned, and now I'm trying to find references to or some knowledge about I'm trying to find some knowledge about what ancient religion or sect this could be a part of, and I am afraid that my personal library here will not do. I may need to send the group of you to the capital to find out. We may need you to look through the university's library to find this.
We can do that. We have 2 scholars among us at least, so be glad to help and be of assistance. Would you mind coming out for
Oh,
a
of course.
few
Are you
minutes?
not-
We don't want to crowd all
are
the
you-
way in here, so I thought I would come back and fetch you.
Oh.
I think that the rest of my crew might have some additional questions.
Sure. So yeah, he immediately puts stuff down and comes right out. Hey, I did not know that you were here. I was kind of engrossed in my studies. I trust that you are rested from the activity of yesterday.
Yeah, we are.
Yes,
Pin's house is nice.
Oh, that bath.
it's
I
very
need a
nice.
good one.
Good. So Vera has advised that the object has been hidden, and did not tell me where it was. And that's okay with me. I don't want to know where it is. So I believe, and I was just telling Vera this, I may need to ask another favor of the group of you. I want to find out what religious order or what sect or maybe even what god this object is related to. And my personal library, as you can imagine, is small and somewhat focused. And so I may need the group of you to go to the university library at the Capitol. If you would be so kind as to do that. I will certainly pay you for your time. But if you would do that.
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
like, I'm always down for research. I love history. I love dusty old books. You know, get me a plate of biscuits and I'll stay in there for a week.
I mean, I'm
That
sure you
reminds
can
me, we should make biscuits before we go.
We
On
should.
the road. Yes.
Yeah.
Travel biscuits.
Travel biscuits is important. This is an important measure.
I'm sure.
Bestie, will you help me with biscuits?
Absolutely.
Biscuit
So
time.
I'm sure that the Wavecrest, I'm sure the staff at the Wavecrest will will be able to help you with that. All I can find in my own personal library is, and this is conjecture based on an observation that Professor Pop made, is that this looks oddly shaped. That crystal was shaped like a snake's egg. And so there is looking through my library, there is a vague reference to a snake that was of divine power and importance that slumbered and on occasion was woken up by some kind of magical power and with the intention of devouring the world. Now, that does not always mean literal devouring of the world, as this world has never been devoured as it is still here, but often that means some other kind of change, like it's a metaphorical change or a consumption. But that's all I can have, and I don't know why there would be something related to that here in Wavecrest. This was a small seaside farming village that turned into a port based on politics. I don't know why this kind of object would be here. I don't know.
Well, it seems like we might have our work cut out for us, folks.
Absolutely.
Can you
We're going to have to plan a journey in addition to biscuits for the
Apparently.
journey.
Of course.
was in that room that you were in, that crypt that you were in,
Mm-hmm.
was there any type of, like, was everything there as it should be? I mean, there are crypts. Like, was the crypt, was there, you said there was a water elemental, right?
Yeah.
There was
a portal.
undead that were bloated in nastiness.
That
That was
Those
gross.
don't belong.
that happens.
Those
It's a crypt.
It does.
I think the portal was out of place.
A what?
A portal.
There was a portal? Like a door?
Yeah.
Or a portal?
No.
No,
like
I am-
like
I am-
magic keys with the portal.
I am referring to a circular shape of arcane nature that was spewing water that was clearly not there before we got there.
Mm.
Whoever we were following, or someone unrelated, someone created a portal to somewhere that had a lot of water, potentially an elemental, and left it there.
So this adds another layer of complication. Perhaps that water elemental carrying that crystal wasn't even in that crypt. Perhaps this is just a coincidence.
Well, all we can know for certain is that the actions of that elemental and the weight of the water opened one of the sarcophaguses that was fully submerged, and then all those snakes flew out.
Yes.
Okay. Can I get insight checks from everybody?
Okay.
Dumb as a post.
2.
Dumb as 2 posts.
Oh my god, 3.
3 posts.
Maybe,
Alright.
maybe it's not.
Oh man.
4 posts.
Don't worry, bros, I got
We're
this.
doing great, guys.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, Defira, save us.
There, I
Oh, wait,
top.
Talia did. Okay.
Talia
Alright,
too.
so-
All right.
Yeah, I'll
2
just
out of
leave.
6 ain't bad. Is that what we're saying?
We have 2.
Jeez.
So there are 6 of you. There are 4 posts and 2 not posts. So to the not posts, Vera and Talia, you guys. All right. So you're listening to him. You've known this guy for a long time. You get the sense that this is the first time that this is the first time you have encountered him where he has been genuinely confused. I want to make clear that this does not feel like deception. This feels like weird, almost unsettling confusion, because this is a man who exudes confidence, right? You are used to him being hyper competent at everything that he does. He's big, he's strong, he's smart, he's good looking. He has the power of the divine at his fingertips, and for the first time in as long as you have known him, he doesn't have the answer. And you the two of you get a sense that is concerning to him. Confusing, concerning, lots of C's. The rest of you are like, man, dude can't find crap in his books. What's up with that?
Man, this dude was supposed to be so smart. Jeez.
He was supposed to be smart. What a dummy. What a dummy.
Sorry.
So
Everybody coming down for good night.
that's okay.
It's very cute.
So if you would leave, not leave, but if you would go to the capital, I would gladly give you. I would pay your way there, pay your wage, and reward you upon your return. And I would give you a letter of introduction to the academy so that you could go and explore their stacks and hopefully find some information.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
This is very intriguing now. I would love to find out what this is all about.
The capital, yeah, that's a
Let's go.
good place for us to go.
Biscuits
Yeah.
first.
Great. So, as you know, so he kind of goes over to. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was going to close with the comments, but it's been like what, 15 years.
Sure. He kind of heads over to his desk to start kind of scribbling a letter of introduction, so that you could have that. And as he does that, you hear the front door, kind of slam open, and a gnome runs in, and you recognize Professor Pop. Guys.
We're here. Tell us. We're listening to you.
Oh, okay. You could hear me. I was far away.
Yes,
So
you said that so many times. How could we not hear you?
Okay.
But go ahead.
Okay. So all right. Is Brother Thaddeus here?
Just like
Yeah.
point.
All right. He looks through. I mean, I don't know why I ask. He's always here. I don't know where I don't know where else this guy goes. So listen. We finally got some. I'm so glad that you guys are here. We finally got some. We were doing some identification work on those strings that you gave us. You know, the ones that were
Yeah.
that were controlling
For the
those
dancing crabs.
They have we did some deeper analysis, some significant identification over a long period of time, and it seems that they were they were enchanted with some kind. They were enhanced with enchantment magic. It's almost like they were being used to specifically control those animals. And so we suspect they were made those strings were actually and this is very interesting. They were actually chains that were made significantly smaller magically. So this was a very skilled craftsman that made very intricate, detailed objects and made them smaller, and is using that, I suppose, to control those animals.
To control crabs? Do they just really love crabs, or do you think it was a test of some kind?
We didn't get that far. We were looking at the things that you found us. Whoever it is, that they certainly are skilled at what they do, because it took us quite some time. It was almost like the magics were hidden, because it took us quite some time to find it.
So whoever we're dealing with can create, or at least consult someone who can create an artifice to control crabs or creatures.
Yeah.
We know from the crypt that there is at least someone with the ability to look through the eyes of the creature that they control. There was that time Rory was talking to that horse, and the horse, I don't think it's just crabs though, I think it's all creatures, because Rory was talking to that horse, and I don't speak horse, but I do remember Rory mentioning afterwards that the horse felt compelled to just sit there and wait.
Mm-hmm.
So we might not be dealing with just an aquatic creature. We might be dealing with someone who might have a general breadth of control of nature. So I, as a divination caster, could theoretically project my senses through the eyes of someone else. Give me a year or two. But I wouldn't have control over animals. Divine magic doesn't really do either of those things well, but nature magic would let you throw your senses into another animal, or let you control them or talk to them or what have you. So maybe this snake order we're dealing with, possibly nature-based?
So we're looking for a druid?
Sounds right.
Talia,
Yep.
hearing all of this jogs some of your memory, because you've been on some patrols and some missions recently, where you now that he mentions not just crabs, but you have, now that you kind of like think back on your memory, you know, in the last handful of weeks, even kind of before our adventure started, come to think of it, you've noticed more than a few animals being weird, right? You know, not just Rory's birds. You're just used to that shit. I'm gonna mute that. You're used to that stuff, right?
Yes, it wasn't me.
Nope, it was me. It was me. I'm the bad one. It's me. I'm the
All right, you get the
problem.
demerits
It's me.
this event.
Oh man, it's me. I'm the bad guy. But you're used to her birds, right? Those aren't really bothersome. That's kind of a supernatural thing. But you've noticed, right? You're on patrol and you see you just remember things that at the time, as isolated incidents, weren't really all that odd. You know, critters being in the wrong place, them staring at you a little longer than you might have expected, and you just thought it was unsettling then, but now it feels like you're kind of assembling a pattern. Like maybe there really is someone. If someone's controlling animals, those things kind of fit the pattern. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Great. So I wanted to bring you a thing, because we were able to take the chain, this like really tiny, really super fine chain, and we were able to melt it down. And so he has it looks like a bocce ball, right? That is just metal, and so look, this is what I think could happen, right? And so he walks over and hands it to Talia. Look, this is like clay mixed with some of the chain. Like, this is kind of delicate. If you throw this at the ground near a critter that is being controlled, it should break whatever is controlling them. It should. And then what would happen is then if it were a friendly animal or an animal that was just like a regular old wild animal, it would hopefully just go away. So it would like break whatever the enchantment is.
How many times would it work?
I think that one, you could probably throw that one a couple of times, because every time you throw it, like little pieces will fall off.
Okay.
So I think you could it depends on how hard you threw it and what you were throwing it at. If you were extra careful, maybe you could get 3 uses. Maybe. Unless you drop it like off a mountain or something. It's so you get, this is like a ceramic ball. So, you could get some use out of it, but it is not indefinite.
Thank you.
And we could probably make more. I think we would just need more of the objects that person makes to control them. I say person. I guess it has to be a person.
The entity, perhaps?
Entity. I hope it's a person. If it's a person, that's a person that can be stopped. If it is an entity, well, I guess theoretically that could also be stopped, but that is complicated. A person,
yes,
you smack them in the back of the head, and they stop, maybe.
Yes.
Or you put them in
usually.
Yeah, if you hit anyone hard enough, they'll stop what they're doing, right, Talia?
Yep.
You just got to do it right. So there are a few problems that can't be solved with the appropriate use of a smack to the back of the head. So we have the design, and we can make more of those. So yeah, I'm gonna go back to work. And so abruptly, he just spins around and bolts out the door.
Bye.
Bye, 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 and then he's out the door.
Oh, what an interesting fellow.
And with what happened with him earlier, I'm just a little cautious.
I agree.
No.
What do you do next? Anybody? Do you have any ideas, thoughts?
Travel preparations.
Yeah.
Travel prep for sure.
Do we want
So that
to
we're
take-
ready for the next session too.
Mhm.
Do we trust the object he gave us?
Well, is
Are we
anyone
going
going to
to
look
take-
at it?
Oh.
That's probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right, people that are good looking at things, let's look at this closely.
Well, Talia, we'll start with you. You're holding it in your hand. Can we? Are you? Unless you don't want to look at it, I'm going to have you do an investigation check.
1 moment.
Sure, that is intelligence. But you're holding it, so I'll give you advantage because it's in your hand. You get to turn it around and mess around with it. Oh, all right, okay.
I'll go with the 18.
Strong choice. I like that. I like that decision. So you looking at it. Obviously, you're not a wizard or anything like that, but this looks like something that they would have made. It is of pristine craftsmanship. The ceramic is really smooth. It was well fired. This looks like their work. And it certainly, as someone who has thrown their fair share of things, you get a sense that this will absolutely. It doesn't look like it's going to fail at what he says it's going to do. You should be able to throw it a few times; it'll break and do its thing. And it doesn't look like it's big enough to have anything weird in it to be a trap or anything wild like that. Anybody else gonna give a look-see at it or cast a spell or anything like that?
No, I'm good.
I'll check it out. Not any better. 15.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like something that the gnomes
Okay.
would have made. It's got some of their, it's the same color as like one of the tents outside their facility.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I suppose I can give it a shot. Just to make sure, I guess. Nope, I'm a dummy. I don't know anything.
So, I mean, I don't know about that.
When we're on the road later, I'll be making a note to cast detect magic on them when I have like enough time to just sit down in a circle and cast a ritual on it.
Brother Thaddeus overhears you. He casts detect magic.
Yep.
It is definitely magical. I mean, they are skilled artificers, so that is a magical object. It looks like it is radiating transmutation magic.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
I'll do it quick.
Thank you for expending your divine effort to do that. I appreciate it, Brother Thaddeus.
Looks like a bocce ball, Jess.
Wow.
Looks like a bocce ball, Like,
This is so
you
cool.
could just collect the whole. It feels like you could collect the whole set. And you can hustle
There's
people on
more
the
to
road.
get.
If we find the small one that's the target, we're in trouble.
Man,
You see, Preston's more of a cornhole kind of wizard.
yeah. Well,
He grew up in the rougher streets.
Yeah. So there's no beanbags here. Anyway, so
The idea of cornhole being the rougher game.
I mean, listen. It's if comparing it in botch, I'm more of a croquet kind of guy. You know what I mean? Anyway, so Brother Thaddeus, after he cast that, says, "Well, I have here is a bag of provisions and money to pay for more provisions." And he hands that to Pin, and you know how to get to the capital, I am sure. It should only, it should not be a long or particularly dangerous voyage, but this should pay your way there, plus pay for your time there. I'll be waiting anxiously for your return so we can talk about it.
Steve, is the capital at distance that we would need to do like horses in a wagon, or is this an on foot distance?
You are gonna wanna. It's far. This is a trip. We're going on a
Okay.
field trip. Meaning,
Is
we're
it
not
going on
gonna-
the magic school bus?
Oh,
On
I
the
mean,
magic
it's
school.
not-
No.
not that kind of magic school bus.
Sorry.
We're gonna be using different maps. How about that?
Okay.
Different
Cool.
maps, everybody. So, on that note, everyone, your voyage will begin in 2 weeks. So everyone, thank you for coming to another episode of the Coils of Destiny. Thank you to my players. I love you guys. Thank you to everyone who is watching. We will be back next week for another episode of the Engaged Family Gaming Podcast, and then in 2 weeks we will be here for another for a road trip episode of the Coils of Destiny. Let's see if these guys know how to get from place to place. I'm sure they'll be. I'm
The
sure they'll
rolls
manage.
lately, I don't know.
Sure, yeah, maybe their dice will get better. Everybody, you have yourself a great night, and until next time, don't forget, get your family game on. We'll see y'all soon. Bye now.
Bye.